So how come you didn't take that $150,000 and pay for a DNA test when before I turned 36 years old?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you why.
Why are you now saying Mr. Hollis is the baby's father?
My baby had more futures than him than the other guy.
Yes, he did.
He did not look nothing like the other guy at all.
Judge Lake opens the case of Thomas versus McKee. Ms. Thomas believed she was in a committed relationship with Mr. McKee after meeting him on a dating site and was devastated when he denied her pregnancy. Mr. McKee, however, is 100% sure he is not the father of her son, Carson. He claims that once he saw the baby, he was immediately certain the child belonged to another man. The stage is set for a classic paternity showdown.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
Thomas versus McKee.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Thomas, you and the defendant, Mr. McKee, met on an online dating website, and the conversation quickly jumped offline and into Mr. McKee's bed. You believed you were in a committed relationship.
Ms. Thomas describes their whirlwind romance, explaining she drove 45 minutes to see Mr. McKee every other night for about a month. She thought things were heading toward a real relationship, drawn to his kindness, looks, and hilarious personality. She clearly believed their connection was more than casual. This paints a picture of two people on completely different pages, a common and often heartbreaking scenario in modern dating that leads directly to this courtroom drama.
Why do you believe you were in a committed relationship with the defendant?
First of all, we met on a dating website, as you spoke. We started off talking, and then once we started knowing each other, who we were.
How long did you talk on the phone?
Maybe about a month or two.
Okay.
And then I started going to see him, maybe like a 45-minute drive from where I live, like every other day.
The judge digs into Mr. McKee's perspective, asking if he knew Ms. Thomas wanted a relationship. He casually admits, "Not really, Your Honor," and confirms they never even discussed being exclusive. He was simply attracted to her online picture and wasn't ready for a commitment. This highlights a brutal miscommunication where one person's romance is another's casual fling, a dynamic that unfortunately sets the stage for so many paternity disputes like this one.
I wasn't ready, Your Honor.
Okay. Say something else besides that. No, really, Mr. McKee. Tell me about it, though. You know, a lot of times we're in situations like this where there are two people are on two different pages. And
right.
I hear a lot of times when women say, you know, I was committed to him, and then the man...
Ms. Thomas reveals how she broke the pregnancy news. She sent a picture of a positive test. His legendary response? "I don't know how to read these, so tell him what that mean." After she confirmed she was pregnant, he allegedly said, "Oh, okay, so whatever you decide to do, just let me know." This incredibly detached and cold reaction foreshadows the level of denial and disengagement we're about to see from him.
He thought I was just joking, like playing, or just maybe just sick. So maybe like a couple weeks later, I said, let me take a pregnancy test. So I took a pregnancy test. I took a picture of it and I sent it to him through text message. He was like, "What is this?" I was like, "A pregnancy test." He said, I don't know how to read these, so tell me what that means. I say, "I'm pregnant." He's like, "Oh, okay, so whatever you decide to do."
Mr. McKee confirms the ultimate ghosting maneuver. He admits that after she called to tell him she was pregnant, his immediate solution was to block her number. Judge Lake calls him out, exclaiming, "Oh, you cold-blooded." He blocked her for the entire pregnancy, missing every milestone. This is a stunning level of avoidance, showing a man who would rather disappear than confront a potential lifelong responsibility head-on.
He called me when she was like 3 months pregnant. I know I got a phone call, I was at work, and I told her I'd call her back, but I ended up blocking her number.
What?
He blocked it after we had that conversation. After we had that
Really?
conversation,
After I blocked the number, she had the baby and called me from another number.
So she called to tell you she was pregnant, and you just said...
The plot thickens when Miss Thomas calls Mr. McKee after the baby is born. He asks for pictures, and upon seeing them, his first question is about the baby's skin color. He immediately focuses on the child's complexion, which he perceives as different, using it as his primary reason for doubt. This introduces the uncomfortable and flawed logic of determining paternity based solely on a newborn's appearance, a theme that will dominate the case.
He was at work then. He's like, "Send me some pictures." So I sent him some pictures. And he's like, "That's my baby. Are you sure that's my baby?" And then he looked at the color of it, like why he's the color he is.
So wait a minute, Mr. McKee. When you got the pictures, what were you thinking?
Like, this not my baby, Your Honor. I'm like, damn, this baby make number 8 right here. I'm like,
Number 8 for who? You or her?
For me.
For her.
I have 8.
Mr. McKee drops the line that gives this episode its title. He reveals that when he saw the baby's picture, his first thought was, the baby looked like he can be for Donald Trump. Like really? This bizarre and specific comparison, based solely on the child's skin tone and features, becomes his entire argument. It's a wild claim that leaves everyone, including the plaintiff, utterly stunned and speechless for a moment.
The baby look like he can be for Donald Trump.
Like, really?
Oh,
Really?
I didn't expect that one.
He thinks the color makes a difference. The color don't make a difference.
I think what you're saying is you thought the baby was biracial? That's what you meant. Oh, he's adorable.
Thanks.
So when you saw the baby, you said, that's not mine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. McKee attempts to explain his suspicion, pointing out their relationship moved very fast. They met on April 1st and were intimate by April 20th. He implies that her willingness to have sex so quickly led him to believe she was the type of woman who might be seeing other men. This logic, of course, completely ignores his own role in the very same speedy, intimate encounter, a classic double standard.
Reading Morris Cole, pulling teeth and everything all at once, trying to get a story out of you, Mr.
Right.
McKee. You thinking maybe she was already pregnant? Is that what you were thinking? Because it was only a 1-month affair?
No, it was a fair for longer than a month. It's just how fast it happened in a month.
Wait a minute, explain that.
In a truly heartbreaking moment, Ms. Thomas reveals she hid her entire pregnancy from her own family because she didn't want to have another child without their father present. She endured 9 months completely alone, and her family only found out when she was in labor. This sheds light on the profound emotional isolation she experienced, all while the man she believed was the father had simply blocked her existence.
You did.
For my whole family, because I didn't want to have another child without their dad.
So the entire 9 months you went without the support
When I
of-
went into labor, my family was like, what? You in the hospital having what? I said, I'm in the hospital having my baby.
And you had no idea, Mr. McKee.
No, man, I didn't know she was having a baby, Your Honor. You look at that baby.
He looked just like you, just a different color.
So she called you.
Even family opinions are divided. Mr. McKee says his mother thinks the baby could be his, but his auntie told him he need to find the daddy of that baby. This external pressure and conflicting advice from loved ones often complicates these situations further, making it harder for individuals to trust their own judgment or the facts, and adding more noise to an already confusing and emotionally charged predicament for everyone involved.
My family say he looks like him by the nose and everything else. He snorkels when he sleeps like him. He grunts like him and everything else. They look alike.
Mr. McKee, when you look at the baby, in terms of the features, do you feel like there's a resemblance?
My mama say it can be mine, but my auntie say
The case takes an unbelievable turn when Mr. McKee reveals he has a daughter and 2 more children on the way. The judge asks if it's twins, and he clarifies, no, it's with 2 different women. Then he drops the bomb that the 2 women are sisters. The courtroom is floored. This revelation completely recontextualizes the defendant and his seemingly casual attitude toward conception and responsibility.
You do. And so this would be your first son.
I have 2 more on the way.
You have 2 more kids on the way right now?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Right.
With your spouse or your girlfriend?
Girlfriend.
Okay, so the children were planned? No, okay.
And you talk about me?
So you have twins on the way?
The moment of truth arrives. The results for 8-month-old Carson Thomas are in. It has been determined by the court that Mr. McKee is not the father. The shock is palpable. After all the drama, the Donald Trump comparisons, and the secret pregnancy, biology has the final say. This result validates his denial, but also leaves a child without the father figure Ms. Thomas hoped he would be.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Thomas versus McKee, when it comes to 8-month-old Carson Thomas, it has been determined by this court. Mr. McKee, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
He is not the father.
Judge Lake opens the case of Kelly versus Duncan and Anthony. Ms. Destiny Kelly is here to determine which of two men is her biological father. Her ultimate goal is heartfelt. She wants her father to walk her down the aisle at her upcoming wedding. This isn't just about biology. It's about fulfilling a core memory and gaining a complete sense of identity and family on her special day.
Miss Kelly, you are here to determine if one of two men we've tested for paternity is your biological father. You hope to leave this courtroom today knowing your father's identity so he can walk you down the aisle at your wedding.
Destiny shares her lifelong journey, explaining she was raised by her white grandparents from age 2. She noticed she looked different, which caused awkwardness and trouble at school. When her grandfather was killed when she was 10, she lost her male influence and began acting out. This loss and identity confusion created a void that her mother, Larry, hoped finding her biological father could finally help to fill for her.
When I was 2, my grandparents started raising me, and I noticed that I was different because they're white and I was brown. My grandmother used to get awkward looks and she would say stuff to people. And when my grandfather, he got killed when I was 10.
Mr. Duncan, the first potential father, is overflowing with emotion. He says when he was contacted, he was happy and proud. He admits he had a little doubt because Destiny's mother was living with another man at the time. He confesses he was trying to bring her over to my side because she was real pretty. His testimony immediately paints him as a man who has emotionally claimed Destiny as his own for years.
And so, Mr. Duncan, when you were contacted, were you surprised and disbelieved? What were your thoughts?
Oh, I was happy. I was proud, to have a look, to have a child.
Did you question it? Did you have doubts?
I might have had a little doubt because at that time,
Mr. Duncan delivers one of the most raw and hopeful lines of the episode. He says, "I've been hoping 24 years. I only had one mustard seed. That's all I got is one mustard seed about this little girl. But I tell you this right now, I hope to God this is my child." The mustard seed reference, symbolizing tiny but powerful faith, shows the depth of his longing to be her dad.
right now a day, and I've been hoping 24 years. I've been hoping the same thing, and I only had one mustard seed. That's all I got. One mustard seed about this little girl.
Beautiful to hear, sir.
Destiny's mother, Larry, explains her difficult past. She was young when she had Destiny, and her own parents raised her. After her father was killed and Destiny started acting out rebelliously, Larry knew it was time to reveal the paternity truth her mother had always wanted hidden. She took Destiny to meet the two potential fathers, prioritizing her daughter's need for closure over family secrecy.
Like I said, I was young when I had her, and I made some mistakes, and my mom wound up wanting to step to the plate and raise her. So my mom and my dad raised her, and like I said, when my dad got killed, it really disturbed her. So she started being rebellious towards my mom.
Mr. Duncan recounts how he stepped up, inviting Larry and a young Destiny to live with him after a confrontation with her father. He proudly states he had his own house, land, a good job, and a good car. This wasn't just a fling. He was a stable man willing to provide, which makes his subsequent heartbreak over the paternity doubts even more profound and deeply felt by everyone in the courtroom.
I had my own house, I had my own land, I had a good job, I had a good car.
That's you?
That's me right there.
No, you weren't. You wasn't that bad at all.
Oh, I wasn't that bad looking.
You did the right thing.
The emotional core of the case hits. Mr. Duncan reveals that for years, people, and even Larry, told him Destiny wasn't his child. He describes the pain. It is like somebody jugging me. Jugging, jugging, jugging. But he defiantly states, never once did I ever turn my back on that child. Always knew that this little girl right here was mine. This unwavering belief, despite all evidence, is absolutely devastating.
That she ain't my child because all them years, that ain't your child. She said, that ain't your child. But deep in my heart, every time they would say, it's like somebody jugging.
Mr. Duncan explains his heartbreaking reason for stepping back. He felt the same pain Destiny did from the rumors. He asks, "What could I do? I'm not sure that I'm her father, so should I just love her from afar?" He concludes, "All them years, I watched her grow up. I loved her from afar." This confession reveals a man who loved so deeply, he sacrificed his presence to avoid causing her more turmoil.
I went through the same pain of them telling me that ain't my child. I know you don't know how it would feel for somebody to say that to you, but it really do hurt. Every time they say it, every time.
Destiny describes the incredibly awkward moment she met the second potential father, Mr. Anthony. She and her mother showed up unannounced at his door 25 years later to tell him he might be her dad. No phone call, no warning. She calls it the most awkward situation I've ever been in my life. Imagine being that man, just answering your door to a life-changing revelation from a quarter century ago.
Go to knock on this man's door and tell him after 25 years later I might be his child.
No phone call first?
No.
Wow.
I was
you
ready.
knock on the door and what happens?
Larry clarifies her history with Mr. Anthony, calling it a 2-minute thing and pretty much a one-night stand. She never saw him again romantically, and crucially, she thinks she was already pregnant when it occurred. She outright states, "I don't feel he is the father." This makes her inclusion of him seem like a desperate move to cover all bases for her daughter's sake, however unlikely.
I didn't want you to call it a relationship. It was a 2-minute thing. We never seen each other again or nothing.
So it was more of a one-night stand?
Yeah.
You never saw him again?
No. I mean, I seen him as far as like around town or whatever.
A pre-recorded video from Mr. Anthony is played. He states he was shocked by the news, having never heard about a pregnancy. He says, "I don't think she looked like me or any of my other kids," and admits, "It's just hard. You really don't know how to feel." His reaction is one of pure, stunned disbelief. A stark contrast to Mr. Duncan's decades of fervent hope and emotional investment.
Taking a DNA test to find out 25-year-old Destiny is my daughter. I could be destined as father. I was shocked. I never knew Ms. Kelly was pregnant. I mean, this was the first I was hearing of it about a month ago.
The devastating results are read. First, Mr. Anthony is ruled out. Then, the final blow, Mr. Duncan, you are not her father. The man who loved her as his own for 24 years is shattered. Destiny says she's confused still. This is the worst-case scenario. After a lifetime of searching, she is left with no answers and a heartbreaking goodbye to the only father figure she ever really knew.
Mr. Duncan, you are not her father. I'm sorry to you both. I know how much you wanted it. Miss Kelly, how are you feeling?
Confused still.
Judge Lake opens the case of Shands versus Hollis. Ms. Shands is devastated that her first love, the man she lost her virginity to, is denying her 15-month-old son, Aiden. She hopes proving paternity will finally make them a family. Mr. Hollis and his mother testify that Ms. Shands is a pathological liar, and they believe they know who the real father is.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Shands versus Hollis.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Miss Shands, you appear in court today because you are devastated that your first love and the person you lost your virginity to is now denying your 15-month-old son, Aiden. You say once you prove to the defendant that he is the father, you hope you two can.
The stage is set for a bitter clash between former high school sweethearts. Ms. Shands states her goal, to prove Amir Hollis is the father. She emotionally calls him her first love, my first kiss, my first everything. She reveals he's been in the baby's life since Aiden was 3 months old. Her entire case is built on this deep-seated hope and their shared history, wanting to use the truth to solidify the family unit she has always dreamed of having with him.
Today, I would like to accomplish that Amir is the father of my child. He has been in my baby life ever since my baby has been 3 months. He's my first love, my first kiss, my first everything. And today, I just want to know the truth about, I want to prove to him that he is the father of my child.
Mr. Hollis lays out his defense, accusing Ms. Shands of cheating so many times. He claims after a breakup in high school, she started messing with my homeboy. Ms. Shands doesn't deny it, offering a stunning justification. She thought it was cool to go mess with one of his friends because he have slept with one of mine's. This revenge sex admission reveals the deeply immature and toxic dynamics that defined their young relationship.
I caught this Irish cheating so many times, like, it don't make no sense. Like it's just, after middle school, like, after when we hit high school, everything was going straight, like, her freshman year. But after that, like, when we had got into that one argument, we broke up. And then that was that, and she started messing with my homeboy, and she started messing with multiple people.
Your Honor, me and his was close friends once before.
The plot thickens as Ms. Shands reveals she didn't know she was pregnant until she was 5 months along. She found out at a clinic after her godmother kept joking about it. This late discovery highlights just how young and unprepared she was, lacking even basic knowledge about her own body. The chaos of this situation is a direct result of the babies having babies scenario the judge mentioned earlier.
My godmother, we used to be on the porch, like just when she was doing people's hair, we used to be on the porch. She was like, you pregnant, you pregnant. I used to be like, stop jinxing me, stop jinxing me. And one day I went to the clinic and I found out I was 5 months pregnant.
5 months?
5 months.
So you didn't even know enough about your body to know you were pregnant. So you find out you're 5 months pregnant.
Ms. Shands admits she told the other guy about the pregnancy first, and he was happy. She only told Mr. Hollis later, and he found out on the streets. Crucially, she confesses she never told the other guy that Mr. Hollis could be the father, only telling Mr. Hollis's mother about the possibility. This selective truth-telling is the core of why she's being called a liar and has created this massive mess.
And so you also tell Mr. Hollis?
I told him, like, not as soon as I got pregnant. He ended up finding out on the street. But I ended up telling him. I guess he ended up telling his mom as well. And I was telling them that it's a possibility that it can be him or the friend. I never told the friend.
The delivery room drama is exposed. Ms. Shands confirms the other guy was with her in labor and at the birth. Mr. Hollis was not invited and didn't even know she was in the hospital. He found out from someone at school. This deliberate exclusion, while having the other potential father present, severely undermines her current claim that she always wanted Mr. Hollis to be the dad and build a family with him.
The friend was with me when Aiden was born.
In the hospital?
In the hospital. In labor.
In labor.
And my mom, I sent my mom there because I knew there was a possibility that my son could be the dad as well. He favored my son when he was born.
So wait, and so Mr. Hollis, you just didn't want to be there, or you felt like you weren't invited?
I wasn't never invited. Like, anything I ever found out about the baby, I found out by myself. Like,
in a major twist, Mr. Hollis's mother, Mrs. Hollis, testifies that she herself FaceTimed Ms. Shands and said baby Aiden looked like her son, Amir. Ms. Shands confirms she admitted it was a possibility. So the defendant's own mother saw a resemblance and initiated the paternity doubt that brought them to court. This shows how deeply entangled the families are in this confusing and emotionally charged situation.
I FaceTimed her and told her that it looked like I said, Aiden looks like Amir.
And what did she say, Mom?
It's a possibility.
So you admitted that it was a possibility?
Yes, Your Honor, I did admit that it was a possibility.
Mrs. Hollis reveals the dangerous real-world consequences of this paternity mystery. Her son and his former best friend are beefing over it. They've already gotten into a physical altercation. She is clearly terrified this conflict could escalate, adding a layer of genuine fear to the courtroom drama. This isn't just about feelings anymore. It's about the safety of these young men caught in this web.
That him and my son is beefing over it.
Beefing over it?
Yeah, they got into it.
We got into it a few times. I'm trying to protect my son. Like, it's not no beef. He ain't no beef with me no more. Like, I let the whole thing go. Like, the whole thing.
But it was a bunch of mess.
I can't tell you write songs about it.
What you mean?
He made a song, Your Honor, and it specifically says, about a year ago, I fell in love with a thought.
The pettiness reaches peak levels when it's revealed Mr. Hollis made a diss track about the situation. The court even plays some lyrics. I can't be cuffing Columbus Ho. About a year ago, I was in love with a 5. Judge Lake is justifiably horrified, summarizing the absurdity with, it just keeps getting worse. This proves their entire conflict has been fueled by social media drama and teenage immaturity.
And I can't be cuffing Columbus Ho. About a year ago, I was in love with a 5. It just keeps getting...
Oh, Miss Your Honor. And it was a video that went viral. It went viral. He made a little song. It got me and his picture in the background.
Mrs. Hollis delivers a heartbreaking motivation for wanting the truth. She fears her son could get killed over this beef, revealing that's how his father lost his life. This tragic backstory explains her intense fear and why she's in court. It's no longer just about grandparent rights. It's about preventing a cycle of violence and protecting her son from a fate she knows all too well.
Over there like that. That's how his father lost his life, and I would hate for that to happen to him.
And see, you know, Mom, I appreciate your honesty, and I understand I'm a mom of a boy, and I get the fear. And what's so scary is, at the end of the day, you were just kids. but you're making people because you're engaging in adult activities.
A poignant moment emerges as Mr. Hollis admits he has a real strong relationship with baby Aiden and is deeply attached. Ms. Shands adds that Aiden reacts with more excitement to Amir than to the other guy. This bond makes the impending results even more devastating, showing that regardless of biology, a real, loving connection has been formed between this young man and the child he believed was his son.
It's a real strong relationship. Like, I got attached, like, real fast. I can't even, he loved me. Like, every time I come around.
So you have a real bond with this baby. Miss Shands, has this other guy developed a relationship with Aiden as well?
Not as really. Like, when Aiden see Amir, they have a little thing like, at each other, like, they do it, like, every time he see him, like, he can get on FaceTime with Amir, he be like, ah!
The results are in, and they are crushing. Mr. Hollis is definitively ruled not the father. Ms. Shands, who so desperately wanted him to be the dad, is in tears. The truth shatters her dream of a family with her first love and severs the bond he and his mother had formed with Aiden. This is the harsh reality of paternity court, where heartfelt desires often collide with biological facts.
15-month-old Aiden Shands. It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hollis, you are not the father. I see tears in your eyes, Ms. Shands, because I know how desperately you want it.
Judge Lake opens the wild case of Morris versus Thorpe. Mr. Morris claims certain facts have led him to believe he fathered only one of Ms. Thorpe's twin daughters, London, and not the other, Paris. He blames a botched home DNA test for separating him from London. Ms. Thorpe calls his claim ridiculous, insisting he fathered both girls. This sets up an incredibly rare and dramatic paternity scenario involving fraternal twins.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is the case of Morris versus Thorpe.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Morris, you're here because you say certain facts have come to light that make you believe that you fathered one of Miss Thorpe's twins and not the other. You claim a botched home DNA test separated you from your daughter, London, and you intend to rectify.
Mr. Morris explains his roller coaster of doubt, saying he first believed both twins were his, then thought neither was, and now is convinced only London is his daughter. Judge Lake confirms the medical possibility of twins having two different fathers, a phenomenon known as heteropaternal superfecundation. This scientific fact elevates his seemingly outlandish claim from pure fiction to a remote, yet legally and biologically plausible possibility that must be investigated.
Exactly how it sounds. Originally, I was believed that both of them was mine. Over time, certain circumstances made me feel like neither were mine. And then after that, different things happened that made me believe just.
Ms. Thorpe reveals the messy relationship dynamics. She admits she was seeing another man while talking to Mr. Morris. She wanted a relationship with Antoine, but he turned her down because he was still in love with the mother of his other child. Feeling hurt and rejected, she then started messing with another guy. This classic love triangle is the fertile ground from which this unprecedented paternity confusion has sprouted.
I was seeing another guy at the time that me and Antoine was talking, but the time matched up to Antoine being the father of both of my kids. Before anything, we were friends, so I don't even understand why he's even putting me through this. I told Antoine that I wanted to be in a relationship with him, and he turned me down because he was still in love with the mother of his other child. So when that time happened, I got upset and I started messing with another guy.
Mr. Morris describes his initial joy upon hearing the pregnancy news. He was ecstatic and went all out, buying two of everything: bassinets, strollers, and car seats. He moved her into a family member's house and cared for her daily during the pregnancy. This paints a picture of a man who was fully invested and preparing for twin daughters, making his subsequent doubt and departure all the more dramatic and heartbreaking.
I went to the doctor for like just a regular checkup. She came in and she told me that I was pregnant. He was very happy. He seemed like he was very happy about the situation.
I was ecstatic. I was very, very happy. Like I went all out. I bought two of everything. It cost a lot. It was bassinets here, strollers there, car seats.
The origin of the doubt is revealed. Mr. Morris says he was in a drugstore when a home DNA test seemingly called out to him. He bought it and, without Ms. Thorpe's knowledge, secretly swabbed himself and one of the twins. In a critical error, he used the mother's swab on the other twin, completely invalidating the test. This clandestine, botched operation is the catalyst for the entire courtroom drama.
Honestly, just one day I was in a local drugstore and out of the blue, I know it sounds crazy, but this DNA test was just sticking out. And like everything else was just like black. I'm like, a test? So I bought it, just like that. I didn't doubt him, not one bit, but I went back to the house.
The results of his flawed DIY test come back, 0% probability. He took this definitive result at face value, despite his own admitted contamination of the samples. This single piece of paper, obtained through his own incompetence, convinced him the children weren't his and led him to make a life-altering decision that would haunt everyone involved for years, especially the little girls caught in the middle.
0% probability.
But you do understand that you didn't even use the swabs right.
I would just hope, I don't know. Like I said, so.
No, you don't.
I didn't.
The truth is you don't. You was making something up.
But
Ms. Thorpe reveals the ultimate betrayal. After getting the bogus result, Mr. Morris didn't calmly discuss it with her. He texted her while she was at work, and then, when she didn't immediately respond, he posted the results all over social media, telling everyone the twins weren't his. This public humiliation and airing of their private drama is a devastatingly immature act that prioritized his anger over the children's well-being.
So he ended up getting very upset and ended up posting it all over social media and telling everybody. He posted all over social media and told everybody that the DNA test came back and that the kids were not his.
Did you also post, Mr. Morris, that you didn't do the test properly?
A stunning new layer is added. Mr. Morris had another woman pregnant at the exact same time as Ms. Thorpe. Judge Lake is floored, exclaiming, "Oh, you on team too much all the way around." This confession reveals a man managing multiple concurrent pregnancies, which completely recontextualizes his initial reluctance to commit to Ms. Thorpe and adds to the overall chaos of the situation.
Oh, you had two women pregnant at the same time?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, you on team too much all the way around. All the way around.
Yes, ma'am.
So you had another baby by another woman at the same time.
The same reason when I was telling Imani why I couldn't be in a relationship with her, because I was in a long-time relationship with someone else. We was on a break.
In a deeply confusing and sad reveal, we learn the 4-year-old twins call Mr. Morris Uncle Juan. Ms. Thorpe admits the girls asked if Twin was their dad, and she told them no. So while Mr. Morris has been present, the children have been deliberately kept in a state of relational limbo, forced to view the man who might be their father as a vague, non-parental uncle figure.
They call me Uncle Twan.
Uncle Twan?
Yes.
Boy, you about crazy. You just got too much going on. You done gone through all this only for the children and now call you Uncle Twan?
I didn't tell them to.
Oh, you told them to, Miss Thorpe?
No, Your Honor. They just developed that because he's been around since day one, so with him being around so much.
Judge Lake delivers a blistering critique of the environment these children are in. She says a 4-year-old having to ask, "Is somebody my daddy?" means the baby's got more sense than the mama and the daddy. This highlights the profound failure of the adults to provide clarity and stability, forcing innocent children to seek basic truths about their own identity from a world of adult lies and confusion.
4 years old and have to sit up and ask 2 grown adults, "Is somebody my daddy?" Baby's got more sense than the mama and the daddy. Thorpe, would you look at these 2 girls and you say you know for certain Mr. Morris is their biological father?
The judge brilliantly compares their chaotic situation to a game of musical chairs, where they just jump to a conclusion that work until the music starts again. This metaphor perfectly captures the years of running from the truth, shifting stories, and unstable relationships that have defined these twins' lives. It's a powerful indictment of the dysfunction that has robbed these girls of a clear identity.
You all just been circling around this doubt, circling around this dysfunction, circling around all of this confusion. Trying to raise these babies? What's that little game you play when you're little? What's that one where the music play and you just be running around? Musical chairs.
Musical chairs.
That's what it feels like. Like you all just running around and then when the music stops, y'all just jump to a conclusion at work.
The first result for Paris is red. Mr. Morris is not the father. He was correct about Paris, which momentarily validates his complex theory. This result sends a shockwave through the courtroom, confirming the incredibly rare scenario that one twin could have a different father. All attention now turns to London, with the fate of his paternal claim hanging in the balance of the next envelope.
Well, you were correct there. You are not Paris's biological father. Miss Thorpe, you don't look surprised. The next result is for London. In the case of Morris versus Thorpe, when it comes to 4-year-old London Morris, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Morris.
The final result for London is revealed. Mr. Morris is also not the father. The man who built the nursery, attended the birth, and gave them his last name is biologically related to neither girl. Ms. Thorpe is asked who the father is, and she names the other guy, who stopped talking to her when she got pregnant. She chose the man with the best reaction, not the correct biology. This conflicting testimony highlights the murky, unresolved past that has poisoned their present and created this fundamental rift in their daughter's sense of self.
Mr. Morris, you are not the father. Ms. Thorpe, somewhere inside of you, you knew this was a very real possibility. I can see your reaction. Who is their father?
The other guy I was talking to. When I told him I was pregnant, he stopped talking to me.
Judge Lake opens the deeply personal case of Garnett versus Langston. Ms. Garnett is here with her mother to prove the defendant, Mr. Langston, is her biological father. She's baffled, considering him her daddy and a best friend, and demands an apology for his doubt. Mr. Langston, however, claims he's always known he wasn't her father and feels he is owed the apology. This sets up a painful clash between a daughter's identity and a man's long-held intuition.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello.
This is a case of Garnett versus Langston.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Garnett, you and your mother, Ms. Miller, have opened your case to prove to the defendant that he is your biological father. You are baffled because you consider him a daddy and a best friend and state his doubt is unwarranted and demand an apology once the results are revealed. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The inciting incident is revealed, a devastating text message from Mr. Langston. He wrote, "I think your mother blanked me, and you about your birth father being me. She was missing around when you were born. Talk to your mother and find out the truth." This message, sent after nearly 2 years of estrangement, is the concrete evidence that shattered their relationship and forced this painful day in court.
So I think your mother blanked me and you about your birth father being me. She was missing around when you were born. I don't want to keep causing you pain, but I have mixed feelings about it. Talk to your mother and find out the truth. You sent this text message?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
So why were you estranged for 2 years? What happened?
We live in different states, Your Honor, but we had always been close.
Mr. Langston reveals his doubt isn't new. He's harbored a gut feeling since Ms. Garnett was born. Ms. Garnett then shares the moment the doubt was first voiced. At a family funeral 2 years prior, he told her he might not be her dad, vomited all this tragedy on her, and then recanted. This confession at a funeral, a place of existing grief, made the revelation even more traumatic for her.
Yeah, I did.
Miss Garnett, you grew up as a daddy's girl. You say he's your best friend.
He's always been my dad. I've always known him to be my dad. When I became an adult, around 21 years old, that's when we started really becoming close. 2 years ago, when I was at the funeral with him, he had brought up for the very first time that he thought I may not have been his daughter, which blew my mind. And he went on and on about him and my mother's past. And
Mr. Langston explains one source of his suspicion. He once walked in on Ms. Miller with a man he calls her play cousin, who she claimed was just a family friend. He believed the man was there with romantic intentions, which fueled his existing insecurity about her fidelity. This decades-old memory has festered in his mind, becoming a cornerstone of his belief that he is not the biological father.
Had this doubt all this time?
A couple of issues. One day, she used to live out south. I came through the back. Her auntie downstairs let me in. I walked upstairs. I didn't knock on the door.
I looked in, I see this guy sitting on the couch with her, like he running this game to get up on something. I knocked on the door. I said, what's going on?
A he said, she said argument erupts. Mr. Langston claims Ms. Miller admitted to being intimate with the play cousin after he pressured her for the truth. Ms. Miller vehemently denies this entire story and the person involved, swearing on her father's grave.
So, Ms. Miller, you don't remember this conversation?
I don't remember any of it.
Do you remember the play cousin?
I don't know who he's talking about.
Do you remember the play cousin? Do you remember this person he's talking about?
His play cousin or my play cousin?
He said it was his.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Ms. Miller, when you got pregnant, you knew he was the biological father?
I knew he was he was the only one I was sleeping with. He the one told me he told me.
Mr. Langston introduces a financial grievance, revealing he paid child support for over 20 years and even received checks for overpayment totaling, by his estimate, nearly $100,000. This financial sacrifice, made under the assumption of paternity, adds a layer of perceived betrayal to his emotional pain. He feels he was financially used for a child he instinctively felt was not his own.
I paid child support not only 18 years, I paid it 20 years.
But when
they
did you
started
start?
sending me checks back for overpayment, $1,700, $800, $1,000, $500.
In a major revelation, Ms. Miller discloses that she once took a DNA test herself when Ms. Garnett was a child to settle his doubts. She took herself to a hospital for the test, but Mr. Langston never followed up for the results. She interpreted his inaction as him finally accepting paternity, which is why his recent text message felt like a devastating betrayal that came out of nowhere.
I took myself to a hospital and I had a DNA test done. He never followed up. For him not to turn around and follow up, and I thought it was the end of it when he didn't follow through. And he was always a part of her life from that point on. I thought that he came to his senses and he realized.
Ms. Garnett emotionally describes the impact of the text, saying she cried and felt like he was taking my identity away from me. She powerfully states, "I always known I was a Langston." This shows her entire sense of self was built around this man, making his rejection not just a personal slight, but an attack on the very core of who she believed herself to be for her entire life.
I was devastated. I felt like he was taking my identity away from me because I've always known I was a Langston. And I have so much about my father. When he came back into my life when I was an adult, it was like a piece of the puzzle was missing. And we became best friends.
Mr. Langston shows his own deep conflict, crying as he explains sending the text, "Crush me." He loves her, but felt he couldn't deny his internal feelings anymore. He reveals he's 61, had never flown on a plane before, but did so to resolve this because he wanna know the truth. This shows his actions, while hurtful, came from a desperate need for clarity after decades of silent doubt.
When I had that phone and did that text, it crushed me when I pushed that button, because I know what the effect was gonna have on her. And I don't wanna send her through that, because I love her. So why am I gonna send her through that? I didn't want to. But how am I gonna deny how I feel in the inside? How I'm gonna do that when I got grandbabies?
Mr. Langston offers a profound, if tragic, philosophy for his actions. If I can't trust myself, how I'm gonna trust you or anybody else? He explains that his own inability to trust his judgment about the paternity meant he couldn't fully trust anyone else, including Ms. Garnett and her mother. This internal crisis of faith is what ultimately compelled him to voice his doubt, despite knowing it would cause immense pain.
You did that? So how I'm gonna trust you if I can't trust me? So I don't trust.
Jerome, I could not have explained it any better.
Ms. Garnett presents her evidence, a Facebook post where she compared her photo to one of Mr. Langston's father. She noticed a resemblance, and cousins commented, "You look just like Pawpaw." This gave her comfort and reinforced her belief in their biological connection. It's a heartbreaking attempt to use familial likeness to combat the man's deep-seated, intangible doubt, showing how desperately she was clinging to her identity.
After the text message, I did some soul searching. I was just laying in my bed looking through my phone, and I saw a picture of myself, this picture, and it reminded me of this picture of my grandfather. This is Mr. Langston's father. And I noticed some similarities in our faces. And I posted it to Facebook to get some
The results are red, and they are shattering. Mr. Langston is not the father. His immediate, gut-wrenching reaction is to turn to Ms. Garnett and say, "Now, don't look at me. Ask her who your daddy really is." This moment is the culmination of his decades of suspicion. But instead of triumph, there is only the visceral pain of watching the daughter he loves collapse from the news.
In the case of Garnett versus Langston, when it comes to 36-year-old Shauna Garnett, Mr. Langston, you are not the father.
Are not the father?
He is not her biological father.
Now don't look at me. Ask her who your daddy really is.